Hey, what is up, guys? Today I am going to be learning how to do 30 million DPS as Brewmaster Monk. Yes, this is kind of crazy. So Brewmasters can do an insane amount of damage this season, but I personally, if you've watched some of my other videos, I've only ever been able to hit around 15 million, that kind of area as Brewmaster. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing wrong. Luckily, recently I stumbled across this video from Yoda that's titled How to Do Massive AoE Damage as Shadowpan Brewmaster. So I'm going to watch this video and maybe watch some of the other stuff from Yoda and just kind of get a little bit of a guide on how to play Brewmaster Monk. And then we're actually going to hop into some keys and see if I can replicate any of this. So now we do have some experience as Brewmaster. I'm not a noob or anything. I have most dungeons timed on 13, a couple ones that I'm still chasing here, but I'm almost at 3K rating. And we're going to be looking to push a little bit further in this season. So basically what I do understand about how they do all of this damage is that it revolves around their flurry strikes. So you see I have a tracker right here. And I believe it's somewhere in here. I don't know exactly how this all entirely works. I have this tracker here. I don't even know how this tracker necessarily works, but I don't even know how flurry strikes necessarily work. So I got to kind of figure all of this stuff out. And I'm hoping that Yoda can help explain this to me so that I can understand exactly how I'm going to do so much damage. So starting out right here, we're just going to kind of showcase this video to showcase exactly how much damage he's actually doing.
So the first thing you need to know is that you need to set your flurry up before the key starts. There's a video on that on the channel, but basically you want to set it up so you have one flurry charge consumed before next goes into the wall. This time I had 2, and I decided I kind of CBA setting it up. 2 is fine. 10 is kind of despair mode. 1 is like ideal. It's easy to set up 1 anyway, so just watch the video. The other video, if you don't know how to set that up. You can also like game your deck of cards, but I didn't bother doing that this time because it's not super necessary in my opinion. So yeah, we'll play the clip. Basically, you're gonna start off by running around and spinning, crane kicking everything, and maybe you can also use keg smash to pull. And then once everything is grouped, you want to set up your buffs. Ideally, I would Jadewind here, but I guess I just go straight into it. So I'm gonna blackout kick into Stone Idol. By the way, if you have you kind of want an on-use trinket for Shadowpan. Stone Idol does work. It's a 1 minute 30 cooldown though, and Weapons of Order tends to be like 120-ish. So you have to like use it late, like use it on pull the first time, and then second time it's like during Weapons of Order late, and third time is like at the very end, and then you have to like wait a Weapons of Order before you use it. So it's not really ideal. Ideally you have Nether Prism, but on the first pull, Stone Idol is going to be very useful. It does also do massive damage in keys. It's like uncapped damage, and it gives you crit, so it's really nice.
So we don't have the Stone Idol, but we do have a Signet of the Priory. So this one is annoying in comparison because, like you said, so our Weapons of Order is going to be 1 minute 20 cooldown, and the Signet is going to be 2 minutes. So I won't even be able to use this for every single Weapons of Order. I would have to use it every other, which is a little bit annoying. But it's better than nothing. It's also myth track too, so I mean, like, that's kind of nice at least. The other thing that he said is that we want Nether Prism. So let's look at, I think that's a raid trinket. I don't actually remember which boss it's off of. Oh, so Nether Prism's nice because it stacks up and then you get to choose when you use it. So you can use it at 120. You can use it at 20-second cooldown. So you can just use it every single one. Yeah, that would be a really nice trinket. Honestly, I don't know if this would be a horrible idea, but I imagine we could probably run both trinkets. But I guess maybe that would be stupid because you wouldn't be able to use the Signet when you're using Nether Prism. You use Nether Prism every time. So you'd be using it outside of your cooldown windows anyway. But
during your trinket window, your goal is to get as many flurry strikes off as possible, which means you're going to want to spend as much energy as possible. And while your new Zao is out, which happens to be the same duration as your trinket roughly, I don't know why I'm not tracking the trinket somewhere else. You want to get off as many purifying brews as possible. Realistically, that means 3 to 4. Actually, you can actually get up to 5, but it's kind of hard to get up to 5, which we'll explain here. You want to be blackout kicking keg smash in massive AoE. I know you can get a little bit more damage on single target by blackout kicking Tiger Palm, but in my opinion, that makes no sense. Like, if you look at this pull, there's like 30 mobs. Doubling my Tiger Palm damage, which is going to be like less than 1% of my damage to the Goliath, is going to be completely irrelevant. We're actually just going to play for more purifying brews and more stomps. So our goal here is to dump all of our energy twice in the trinket window, and we're going to do that using Black Ox Brew, and we also want to use at least 3 purifying brews. So we're going to be blackout comboing on Keg Smash, and I also do tend to use Spinning Crane Kick on pulls of this size. I would say up to like 5 targets, you can use Tiger Palm instead. But above 5, definitely want to be using Spinning Crane Kick.
And so the reason that he's using the Purifying Brews and why that's important is because when your Nuzao is out, I think that's what it's called, right? He'll do a stomp every single time. I don't know actually what talent it is. The Purifying Brew, and you notice he stomps like that, so I can use it again. And it's cool because you can actually reset your Purifying Brews with your dude. And then so you can get out with like 4 pretty fast right there, you notice. And that does a decent amount of damage. Now, you're not noticing there on the single target, but when you get a lot of mobs in there, then it can definitely do a lot. I think your other brews might also cause the stomp. So your Celestial Brew, is that what that is? Or the other reason, this is another reason why using your Keg Smash is nice, because you're going to notice that actually reduces the cooldown on your brews. So I can boom, boom, and then I don't know if your other dudes do that, but yeah. So, a lot of stomps,
So we're just going to dump energy as fast as possible. Also, we are in Lust, by the way, so you're going to want to Spinning Crank as much as possible. When Blackout Kick is up, you push Blackout Kick into Keg Smash. Then as soon as you hit 0 energy, and ideally 0 charges of Purifying Brew, like right here, that's when you push your Purifying Brew, or your Black Ox Brew. That refreshes your energy, and then insta-spend. So Black Ox Brew, and then insta-spend energy again, Spinning Crank Kick. So you'd never want to sit at capped energy in your cooldowns as Shadow Pan. And then spend the Purifying Charge. So that's also cooling down. So in this example, I got off 4 Purifying Brews. I think it might have been 5, actually. 4.
Okay, so this is easy enough, actually. So it's during your cooldown windows, basically it's you keep your Rushing Jade Winds up, it seems like, and then you will Blackout Kick, Keg Smash, and then you will spin, and then spin, and then spin, and then Blackout Kick, Keg Smash, and then you spin, and then spin. And then, like, in between that, you would use your Purifying Brews. And then once you are at 0 energy, then you would use your, what's it called? Black Ox Brew is what he said. Yeah, and that resets all your shit, and then you start going again, so.
Ideally, also, by the way, I kind of used these things in the improper order. Ideally, you would use Nuzao before Weapons of Order, just so like all of your stuff is lining up in the trinket window. And you would also pot earlier than I did. If you want to play in some dungeons, it does.
So he's saying to use Nuzao as I'm like going in, I suppose, rather than during Weapons of Order, because I guess I waste like a global, and using it afterwards doesn't make a lot of sense or something. I don't really know exactly, but
makes sense to split up Weapons of Order and Nuzao. This video is just like a guide on how to do max damage possible. As you can see,
okay, so sometimes you don't want to do that to like for survivability and something.
Basically, I'm pushing like 3 buttons, and my character is doing 32 million AoE damage in Lust, and that's basically it. Group everything, use your trinket, try to dump energy as fast.
32 million. That's insane. He's out damaging everybody in the group, and like this is what I'm saying is like sometimes I do a lot of damage on Brew, but like that's doing a lot of damage, and I know it's the Murloc pull and Gambit, so it's like there's more mobs and stuff like that, but like you could easily hit something like this, I assume, on like the first pull in Floodgate, the first pull in Arakara, you know, first pull Gambit, obviously, first pull Priory, maybe not 30 million because it takes a little bit longer to gather that pack, but like potentially you could hit something like pretty high there, you know.
It's possible in Black Ox Brew, and then get at least 3 to 4 Purifying Brews in the trinket window as well. Once the trinket is over, you can kind of relax a bit. You can like remember. Use Chi Burst, use Exploding Keg, refresh your Jade Wind, etc. You need to start playing like to not dump energy as crazily as anymore. But in your trinket window, it is very important that you just dump energy as fast as possible so that you can use Black Ox Brew and then dump energy again and just use as many Flurry Strikes as possible in your trinket window.
All right, I think that we got the idea on that. Now I want to understand Flurry Strikes a little bit better, so I'm going to watch a little bit of this Flurry Strikes video. And I think this is the one that he's going to talk about how he did the pre-setup for the dungeon. So what he was saying in the last one is that he had like a little preparation that he put in to make sure that like when he went in, he had all of this stuff up. I'm familiar with this stuff from like Ellie. I'm assuming he's going to hit like a target dummy to charge it up or something. But
I will explain one of the Shadow Pan mechanics that can allow you to gain a lot more damage out of Flurry Strikes, especially the Shadow Proc. So first thing we're going to explain is how does it all actually work. So the way Shadow Pan works is every some amount of damage that you do, you generate a Flurry Charge, and then once you spend 240, or with the tier set, it's 120 in Weapons of Order. I know it says 150, it's a bug, or tooltip error, whatever. It's actually 120. Every time you spend that much energy, you'll spend all of your Flurry Strike charges. So what it doesn't tell you is that you can hold up to 10 Flurry Strike charges And if you are just playing the game normally, like in combat with mobs doing a rotation, you will almost always be able to generate 10 Flurry Strike charges before you spend like that much energy, either 120 in weapons order or 240 outside. So the next thing you need to know is...
So my understanding is as you do damage, you build up these charges, and then as you spend energy, you spend the charges. So basically, doing a lot of damage is really good if you can spend less energy. This isn't exactly how it's going to work, but this is how you would build up the charges. You do a lot of damage within a short energy window, it sounds like. And then, yeah, once you start dumping energy, that's when you start getting a lot of stacks.
Wisdom
from
of the wall,
the
every 10 Flurry Strikes, you get a buff. So what usually happens is
I didn't know about this Wisdom of the Wall thing. Sorry. So it's the last talent in this tree, so it's something I probably should have known. But every 10 Flurry Strikes become infused with the Wisdom of the Wall, gaining one of the following effects for 16 seconds. Critical Strike, 30%, that's a lot. Dodge and Crit Strike chance increased by 25% of your verse bonus. That also seems insane. Flurry Strikes deal a lot of damage to all uncontrolled enemies within 6 yards. Uncontrolled. Is that like a... Oh, like it doesn't work for PvP, I'm assuming. And then effects of your mastery increased by 25%. I think mastery just makes me like dodge or some shit.
You generate 10 Flurry Strike charges like immediately, and then whenever you spend them...
Or is mastery stagger? Is that what it is? Mastery. A melee or black eye kick, you gain stacking dodge chance. Yeah. Also increase my attack power.
You hit the dummy 10 times, or the enemy 10 times with a Flurry Strike. And then after all 10 hits, you get a buff. So you can actually change this by incrementing it a little bit differently. So the game remembers how many Flurry Strike charges until the next Wisdom of the Wall proc between Flurry Strike hits, and it also remembers it when the key starts. So the way we're going to game this is that we're going to spend 9 Flurry Strike charges before the key, like on a target dummy. This is not going to be your normal rotation, anything but we're going to set this up before the key starts. Spend 9 Flurry Strikes, so that the next time we spend 10, the first hit will proc Wisdom of the Wall, and then 9 hits will have that Wisdom of the Wall buff applied to them. So for instance, let's say you have the first one gives you Shadow, you'll get 9 hits of Shadow. So let's say in a normal Shadow window, like it lasts for 40 seconds, you're able to generate and spend 240 energy like 2 times. So normally what would happen is you proc Shadow at the end of your Flurry Strikes, do no damage, and then proc 2 more times, hit 20 times. Now what's going to happen is you proc Shadow, and then that Flurry Strike still hits 9 more times, and then you do 2 more times. So instead of 20 hits, you get 29 hits out of that buff. So to actually set that up, we need to play the game abnormally on target dummies before the key starts. So the first thing we need to do is we need to spend a bunch of energy.
So that's what this tracker is right here. I guess the Shadow Mastery Dodge Crit is trying to see which Wisdom of the Wall or whatever procs.
Not doing any damage. As you can see, I'm just spinning on nothing. You can also do this with Vivify. Okay, so I spent 220. Now I'm going to do this one more time. I spent 225. So next Tiger Palm I do, or even one Vivify, is going to proc Wisdom of the Wall, right? Or it's going to proc my 10 Flurry Strikes. So now I need to generate 9 Flurry Charges. So I'm going to do that by hitting the target dummy without spending any energy. Now you could like build energy while hitting it. Just be very careful and don't like over build Flurry Charges. Okay, so I'm at 8. I'm at 9 now. So I'm going to Vivify myself twice. Okay, so as you can see, it spent 9 Flurry Charges. So now I did not get a Wisdom of the Wall buff, but the next time I proc Flurry Strikes, I'm going to get one. I'm going to proc this on the first hit, and then the next 9 hits will have the buff applied to it. So I'm going to do that real quick. Just going to play the game normally here. As you can see, playing the game normally, you will always, almost always hit 10. Okay, so then it's going to proc very soon. Bang. So it gave me crit, and then it hit the dummy 9 more times, right? And now we're back to 1.
Dude, this shit is so confusing. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. We gotta go back. We gotta go back.
Your Flurry Strike charges. So what it doesn't tell you is that you can hold up to 10 Flurry Strike charges.
Okay, I need to understand what a Flurry Strike charge is. Generates a flurry charge. So that's when you do damage. Every 1.2 million damage that you deal generates a flurry charge. For each 240 energy spent, unleashes a flurry charge, and unleashes all flurry charges, dealing a certain amount of physical damage per charge. So you can build up 10, meaning that you did like 10 million damage. And then when you spend it, you spend those charges.
Normally, like in combat with mobs doing a rotation, you
So he's saying that you build up 10
will
normally.
almost always be
And then the wall, every 10 flurry strikes becomes infused with the wisdom of the wall, gaining one of the following effects. So basically every time we spend our flurry charges at 10, it's going to give us one of these buffs for 16 seconds. How do you know which buff it is? Does it depend on what you do? Because he has a tracker right
able
here.
to generate 10 flurry strike charges.
Do I want to get that tracker? Do I have something that tracks it right here? That's another question. We're going to come over here. We're going to do what he did, right? Where he came over here. He did this. He did some blackout kicks. I get it now. So what he's saying is the wisdom of the wall. It procs every 10 flurry strikes, but it doesn't apply. So you see, I have 10 flurry charges right now. So whenever I do my thing, I'm going to unleash my 10 flurry strikes. So what I want to do is I want to get it so it's one flurry strike away. And then that way, when I hit the dummy or whatever, then instead of it like munching all of those 10 and then starting to do the flurry strikes or whatever afterwards, it is instead it's going to munch the one or whatever, but then it's going to use the other 9 and like enhance those ones or something.
Flurry strike charge.
That might not be explained exactly correct, but I'm pretty sure that makes so much more sense.
For
Okay.
instance, let's say you have the first one gives you shadow, you'll get 9 hits of shadow. So let's say in a normal shadow window, like it lasts for 40 seconds.
And it doesn't, the way that he phrased it right there, it doesn't sound like you can game the wisdom of the wall and always get whichever one you want. It sounds like, because he said, let's say the first one is shadow, then
You're able to generate and spend 240 energy like 2 times. So normally what would happen is you proc shadow at the end of your flurry strikes, do no damage, and then proc 2 more times, hit 20 times. Now what's going to happen is you proc shadow, and then that flurry strike still hits 9 more times, and then you do 2 more times. So instead of 20 hits, you get 29 hits out of that buff, which is a massive increase. Inside Weapons of Order, it's not as big of a deal, but let's say you get it, and then you proc like 4 to 5 more flurry strikes. So instead of like 40 flurry strike hits, you would get 49 with the shadow buff. The same also applies obviously to all the other buffs, but it's way more important with the shadow buff because like these other ones are like crit strike damage increased by 30%. It's increasing the damage of your flurry hits by like maybe 10%. The shadow one is increasing the damage of your flurry hits by like multiple hundreds of percent because it's uncontrolled and because it's AoE basically.
So right now what we're going to do is we're going to spend a bunch of energy like he is. Boom. And I think what we're doing is we're getting it so we're about to proc.
Nothing, you can also do this with Vivify. Okay, so I spent 220. Now I'm going to do this one more time. I spent 225. So next Tiger Palm I do, or even one Vivify, is going to proc Wisdom of the Wall, right? Or it's going to proc my 10 Flurry Strikes. So now I need to generate 9 Flurry Charges. So I'm going to...
So we're going to walk up here, and then we're going to generate 9 Flurry Charges. So we're doing some damage. We're at 2. We're at 3. Oh, okay. So I should get a tracker for this. Maybe I can get his. Hold on. Or a link. Yes. Okay. Copy string. Okay. So we're at 10 flurry charges. So let's do it all over again. Okay. Right. So we're going to spend energy right now. And he said that we can do this while hitting the dummies. That is totally acceptable. Oh, but we didn't. Oh, wait. Yeah, that was spending energy. Fuck. Okay, so right now we're at 9, actually. So let's just try to game it. We can get to 8 here, right? So we're at 8. So I bet I could do the same thing right now. So let's spend some energy here. We're not doing damage. We're just spending. That's 4. Maybe if we just reset it all. Or we can go to 3. We'll just see if that does the same thing, okay? So Vivifies. We're spinning. We're spinning. Okay, so hopefully this gets me to 1 now, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay, sweet. So now we are 1 away from proccing our Wisdom of the Wall or whatever.
There is another thing you can do to set it up before the key starts. So Wisdom of the Wall always procs these 4, which everyone knows mostly by now that plays Shadowpan. It always procs the 4 buffs you can get, all 4, like 1 of each, before resetting. So you'll never get 2 shadows in a row, like in the first set, same set of 4. You can potentially get 2 shadows in a row if it's like the last one of the first set and the first one of the next set. But basically what I'm trying to say here is you can set it up so that before the key starts, you know that one of your next 2 buffs is going to be Shadow, or even if that your next buff is going to be Shadow, if you're willing to like hit the dummy enough times and then log out. So basically this resets when you log out. I am not going to demo it here, but as you can see, this weak aura says that I cannot get crit in my next 3, right? I will need to proc Flurry Strikes at least 3 more times before I can get crit. You can make it do that for any buff. So ideally, you know, you want Shadow and crit damage as your 2 highest. So what you could do is do this and proc like until you proc Mastery and Dodge first, and then if it doesn't happen, you just log out. Look, I'm gonna log out, and I'm gonna log back in. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna go through every case and show that this is actually true, but the weak aura will show you if you trust the weak aura once my game loads. As you can see, this counter got reset, and this counter also got reset. So whenever I get new buffs, whenever
Okay, that's like turbo sweaty. But right now, it looks like we can get Shadow, Mastery, or Dodge. I guess for the purpose of this, right? Like maybe we should log out so that we can get one of those off the list or something. Okay, let's exit combat, and we're just gonna see how much damage like one attack here does. If we proc Shadow, it's gonna be kind of insane, I think, right? So we did like a blackout kick Tiger Palm right here, and it proc Shadow, and yeah, just like the one Tiger Palm did 4 million. It did 10 million from the Flurry Strikes right there. That's kind of insane. All right, cool. Now let's go find a key, dude. We're just gonna do like a basic 10, I think. Like just put me in a... What's a dungeon with a lot of mobs? We could just do a Gambit, right? Like he was doing. Gambit. Little 10 Gambino. There's a melee comp right here. And we wanna... We don't have any Flurry Strikes right now, so we want to make sure that we build those up. I think I'm gonna have just like a little bit of energy to spend maybe to proc it. Just so I can like spinning crane kick and group everything up before it procs. But I'm not sure if that's correct or not.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Potion is ready.
Oh, it seems like it used up all of our Flurry Strikes, but that is a-okay. So we're gonna pop this guy, and then this guy, and this guy, and blackout kick, keg smash, spinning crane kick, rushing jade winds. And we're only doing 10 mil right now. It looks like it procs Shadow, so but I think everything's just dying so fast because everyone's doing so much damage. I think that's also part of it. We're going through this dungeon so fast, it's actually crazy. Like, we should not be here. It's kind of what this feels like. Oh, man. Dude, there it is. I'm doing 15 mil. I'm doing 15 mil, man. Oh, that feels good. I lined it up pretty well right there. So now I'm cranking. Yeah, okay, now I'm starting to get it. And the thing is right here, like, I'm not hitting like 30 mil, you know? But like, I'm understanding how I'm doing damage or why I'm doing damage, which in the long run is going to make a big difference. I saw this cool piece of tech from a tank in one of my pugs on my paladin. You'll always spawn the dudes up here, and then I don't think they'll leap anywhere if they're up here. Now I did just... Oh wait, I didn't use my kick. But, yeah, they just leap in place, which is kind of cool. That's fucking crazy. We just breezed through this dungeon. So let's try to get our thing up to 9. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 9, 9, 9, 9. 10. Fuck, dude. I did it again. Okay. 4, 5, 8. Okay. Now we melee. We get to 9. Okay, cool. Now we want to spend That gets us down to 1. All right. We're so ready. Got everything banked up. I think to like avoid spending energy right away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rushing Jade Winds before mounting, and then I will mount up, and then I will run through these packs, so that way hopefully I'll have enough threat on them. We also have the rogue with tricks,
4,
so hopefully that
3,
helps us out a little bit
2,
there too.
1.
Obviously this poll is going to take a little bit longer to gather, so our peak will be
5,
lower, but
4,
hopefully we can get some
3,
stuff done.
2, 1.
Okay, cool.
Potion is ready. Sidestep. Sidestep.
15 mil. Okay, okay. We're doing big damn. Doing big damn. Everything's dead. Nice. Sweet.
Sidestep.
We literally murdered everything. Okay. This is sick, man. Oh, no kick. That's fine. Oh, he had Tremor Totem? No, he didn't have Tremor. He didn't have Tremor. I thought he had Tremor for a second. It was just me turning around. Oh, we got the kick. Probably saved that guy's life. Dude, this key is so hard to time, I feel like. We have 7 minutes left. We got a bunch of shit to clear. Like, I don't know, man.
Potion is ready.
I simply wish you had lasted a little longer.
Anyway, this shit is insane. You could definitely do a lot of damage. Special thanks to Yoda for helping me figure out my little monk opener and rotation, stuff like that, how to do big damage. Also, special thanks to Quasi. We used one of his videos in the previous monk video that I made to kind of help us out. So anyway, if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading more stuff like this. Or you can check me out live on Twitch, and I will see you guys next time.